Well, hi, this is Forecast Year. I just want to give you a little update on a situation and a topic that's coming up more and more recently with so many incidents, and that is, what is a first responder? There's also, actually, in real life, have you been involved or witnessed some sort of a security incident or some sort of tragedy occur, some sort of dangerous scenario play out, and likely you have seen some sort of accident or whatnot. You've seen that there are both a first group of people that get there to work the situation and a follow-on group of people that get there. Those first group of people that get there, they are exactly that. They are the first responders. They are the very first people that respond to a terrible incident, whether it's a terrible traffic accident, a car crash, some sort of other disaster or calamity, or if it's a security incident and people have to handle a dangerous situation, then call the police and the police then show up. Those first responders, those first people to be there, are usually the citizens who are in the area that are compelled. They feel a moral compunction, morally or otherwise, to do what they can to respond to the situation. And they are hence the first responders. They're average citizens that happen to be in the area. Last spring at this event, South by Southwest Music Interactive Festival, there was a terrible incident where a guy plowed into a crowd. I happened to be at South by Southwest that year, just a day before, at that very same bar. And you know, I left the South by Southwest event early, having a funny premonition that the scene and the crowd was getting more and more raucous and strange and crazy and out of control. And I left early. It was on that Wednesday, and it was later in the evening that this terrible event occurred. Here's a picture of part of that incident, and as you can see, there are first responders on the scene. They are average citizens trying to help one of the people that's been injured by this in this terrible incident. Then the police were summoned and called, and they got there as quick as they could, having heard about the terrible incident. And they are the second responders on the event, okay? And they respond as quickly as they can. They do what they can after they hear about an incident has occurred. But they are the second responders. Government officials are usually not the first responders. You can see a later action of the event, and the main core first responders are there trying to help out, do what they can. They are the people that were there very first, and they are citizens that were in the area, and later on, government officials came in to do their part and do what they can do. But they're the second responders. I want to be clear about that, because in reality, that's the reality that we face as citizens. Is that we'll be standing in the gap temporarily with first aid or with tactical response if it's a tactical situation to handle dangerous or unfortunate situations that occur in our society. If you've seen those incidents occur, you know that's 99% of the time that's how they play out. The first responders are the citizens that are in the area that have to respond to a situation. The police, the fire, ambulance, etc., are then notified of the situation, and that is why it's called first aid, by the way. First aid is what a first responder gives. It is the first response in a tragedy, and is typically given by a citizen. A medical professional then arrives, and they are a second responder, and they can give a higher level, although more belated level, of medical response. And first aid training is typically given to Joe Q citizens. Some police and paramedics also get it, but again, paramedics are going to give a higher level of medical response than purely what's in a first aid kit. And that's why citizens have a first aid kit, because they are the first responders to an incident, to a safety or security or some sort of tragedy. And they are enabled with their knowledge and training and their supplies in a first aid kit. This is why citizens have first aid kits. They are the citizen first responders to an incident. So I just want to clarify that in reality and really encourage you to, when you're talking about government response to an event, we should be grateful for our government civil servants and empower them and enable them and work with them, but they are second responders. Let's call it what it is. And they provide a higher level response than the citizens alone can respond, and that's great. But the real first responders are, in fact, that. First people on the scene. They are going to be the local citizens in an area, and the second responders are going to be the police, the paramedics, etc. They will come as soon as they can get there, in maybe a few minutes, maybe a little longer, maybe, depending if they're overloaded, if it's a riot, they'll do what they can do. They're better equipped than the citizens, for sure, and better trained, but they are the second responders, and the citizens are the first responders. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember that, and remember the first aid kit analogy. That's why citizens have first aid kits in their gear, and emergency medical professionals, paramedics, etc., have a higher level of gear. They don't just have first aid, they really have second aid, if you will. And it's at a higher level, but it comes later in the process. First responders are the citizens. Thanks for watching.